Hello, 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 hello. Hi, everybody. I am just setting up my stuff. I thought I'd be a bit crazy today and start 1 minute early. Absolutely crazy stuff. Let me just do a tiny little thing. Give me a second. I know this is boring when I have to do this, but okay. Bam. That should be ready. Hang on a sec. I'm just checking this is all working. Yes, I know, but okay, yeah, good, good, good. That's working. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, okay, let's shut that down. Let's shut that down. Let's shut that down. And let's come back to the real world. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Who have we got? Give me a little hello in the chats. Who's in the chats today? Let me see. Sienna straight in. Hi, Sienna. I'm very good. Thank you. Thank you very much for asking. Mesa, Clover, Jacob from Portugal is back in the room. Ariana, Helena, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you very much for asking. Will, Ruby, Sophia, Liz, Clover again. Alice, Seth, Karishma, Simi. I'm very good. Thank you, Simi. And thank you very much for asking. And good morning, says Olivia. Right. Hi everyone. Let's Hi Simi, hi Sophia. Hi Sophia. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Okay, right. What should we do today? Hmm. Maths? Yes. Okay, let's do some maths. Let me share my screen so you guys can see what's going on. Um, how should we do this? Let me maths as well. Yeah, okay, okay. Okay, well, I was gonna do geography today, but actually, yeah, fair enough. Okay, I'll do some maths. I'd be absolutely rubbish at geography. Right, okay, here we go. So you guys can see my screen. This is the paper we're gonna go through. I'm just gonna say that I'm not. Today I'm just gonna jump straight in and do what you guys want. I'm gonna jump straight in and see what you guys want to do. I'm gonna see what you guys are gonna vote for. Let me do my little poll. I just want to do what you guys want to do. Usually I prepare some things and then try and get around to the questions you guys want, but I just realized sometimes I run out of time and I want to just tailor this specifically to what you guys actually want to do. So I'm going to do this is for the people in the Zoom room. I'm going to launch this poll. So just let me know from questions one to what was it? You guys have all had the paper beforehand, so you guys can look at it. 20, from 1 to 20, which are the questions you guys want to go through? And I'll go through them. So vote, vote, vote. Vote now. For those watching free, I'm live streaming the first half an hour of this. I'm just to let those of you know that are watching free. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the model. I'm going to change the way I do this slightly, and I'm going to start to move over to YouTube a bit more. So I'm going to actually put some content on YouTube. I see that the people watching free tend to actually try and watch the replays anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop live streaming these live webinars. This might be the last one or maybe the next one, and I'm just going to start to upload more content onto YouTube and do it properly. I put zero effort into my YouTube channel, but I'm going to start to grow that, and now, or not grow, I'm going to start to put some more content out on there. So you guys watching free can just get my content on YouTube. I always want to keep providing some free content for people that need it. I'm going to start to have, just because I want a bit more back and forth and be able to answer people's questions a little bit more, I'm going to reserve these live webinars a bit more for the premium members. But you guys can join. You guys can join premium as well. Right. So let me go through and show, and let's see what questions you guys. So six is getting a lot of hate. Everyone's hating six for some reason. Question nine is getting a lot of hate. What else is up there? The votes are coming in. 11, 17, 19. Okay, great. The other thing is, it's likely that all of you are going to get stuck on kind of the same questions. 14 is getting a lot of hate. Now, there's a lot of votes coming in for some things that I haven't said. So 7 and 8. So 8 and 7. I don't know how much stuff I'm going to get round to doing. 12 and 13 and 15. Okay, let me just. I probably am not going to get round to these ones, 16 as well. I'm just going to be honest with you guys, but I'll do as much as I can. 16, 17, have I done 17, 18, 19, 20? No, but 18 and 20 are also getting some hate. Okay, right. I am definitely not going to get down that end. I'm sorry. For those of you that wanted help with those, I'm sorry. Oh, 4. A lot of people now want 4 as well. Okay, I'll put 4 there. Let me do what I can in the time we've got. Thank you very much. Let's end the poll there. Cheers, guys. Cheers, guys. All right, let's jump in. So, 6. Why is everyone hating question 6? Should we have a look? Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay, okay. Right, I know why you guys say this. Right, let's read through this question. So, ABCD represents the plan of a field. Look, look. No one has any idea how to answer questions like this. There's a field, A, B, C, D, and they say there's a path across a field, starts at B, and is the same distance from BA and BC. Using ruler and compass, show the position of the path of the path. What the hell? What? Like, where are the numbers? Where are the things? Like, no one knows what's going on. This is this weird topic, okay? In some books, it's called locus of points, or Loki. It's just a weird phrasing. Anyway, let me just show you how to guarantee marks every single time. Whenever they say using ruler and compasses, or when they say the word construct, you want to reach for your compass first. Sorry to swear at you guys, but the compass is the thing that you want. And this is the thing that's going to get you the marks. A lot of people think it's the ruler that's going to get them the marks, or it's the protractor. It is not. It is the compass. So get your compass out. And the whole point is, I don't care what. So this happens for this question that's like perpendicular bisector, cut this line in half, or there's a goat in a field and it can't wander further than this bit, but it has to be between these bits. Weird, like diagrams when they say like you've got to be in between these things or anything like that. Reach for your compass, stick it in a point, okay, draw an arc, and then move the point to one of the places where the arc intersects, and then do some more arcs. I know this sounds like I've just explained that in the worst possible way in the world, but I'm just trying to give you, I just want you to know the first and second step of any of these questions. Set your compass to something, stick it in a point, and do an arc. That's just the first step. So many people reach for their rulers and they're like, oh, it has to be, and they start measuring this length or something. Like, no, 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 no. You're just going the wrong way about it. So starts at B. So there's a path that starts at B and has to be the same distance between BA, whoosh, this thing, psh, and BC. Psh. Okay, so starts at B and has to be the same distance between them. What they're talking about there, it's called an angle bisector. You want to go exactly in between, right? Like that. Not like that, like with a straight line, and you want it to be accurate. But um, even if you didn't know that, just get your compass out, right? Stick it in B because it says it starts at B, and just do a big arc like that. You'll get a mark. You just get a mark for doing that. And just so many people just don't realize that that's what you do. The next thing that you do is you you then are like the next step that you always do is you move the spike and put the spike somewhere else. Now, and it has to be in a new place. Now, here and here are the only two new points that you've got. You've got two places where your arc crosses other stuff. And what you now do to do the angle bisector is you stick the spike in each of them and do another curve. So imagine you then, I'll do this in orange, put the spike there. And if you don't know where to go, just do a big one and put the spike in there and do another big one like that. And you'll realize, oh, there's another point now. And this point will be halfway between. I'm being very rough here, okay? I'm not doing this properly. But then you join this up. And do you see that you would have ended up with, so that if you did it properly, this angle will be the same here as this angle here. So it will exactly split it in half. So this is how you get full marks. And I know this looks like complete nonsense. Like, what the hell have you just done? Scribbled all over the page. But they want to see what's called your construction lines. So these lines, let me just go over these in purple. These are called your construction lines. They're all the lines that you've used to construct your thing. And it doesn't matter if they're massive. I would do them lightly, and then you want to put the actual things in heavy. So you would make that line kind of heavy. So this is it. This is the path across the field. Okay, so this is it. This is 4 marks. I know this is 2 marks, but like just remember you reach for your compass first. How can we condense this onto a card to make this useful so that we remember it? Well, it's kind of annoying this. I reckon you go like this. You just go, so here's your card. Here's the front of your card, and you just want to write method in the top left-hand corner, and then just go like field. So let's just go A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. Remember, with these revision cards, micro revision cards, we want them to take 10 seconds to revise, max. So we have to be super quick. Don't write all of this in. Just take too long. Just be like, Start at B, same distance between A and start at B, start at B, same hmm, hmm. Same distance from BA and BC. I even think a lot of you would be tempted to get your protractor out, right? To get your protractor out, measure this angle, and then just go half of that angle and be like, surely that's correct. Even though that would be correct and you would draw the correct line, you wouldn't get any marks because you didn't use ruler and compass. So basically, use ruler and compass. So I'll just say like use ruler and compass. Or construct. Sometimes they say the word construct. And in this case, you just need to know what to do. And I guess what you should write on the back of your card here is just go like compass. Just be like, how could you phrase this in a quick way? It's just like compass plus arcs. Like this is the point. It's basically like compass plus arcs. I know that might not make sense to you. Phrase it in a way that makes sense to you, but essentially you just want to basically just go like buh, buh, and then maybe in a different color, like this. Let's just do it like this or something. You see? And then you join those two things up like that. You just want to, I wouldn't take ages to draw around. Like, firstly start at B, then draw an arc that goes through the thing, and then like cross it. Like, I think if you didn't know how to answer this question, you just need to have a rough overview of how to do it, right? Rough overview. Oh, it's the thing where you stick the compass in and then draw some arcs. And then just like give it a go. Okay. You can spend hours and hours doing loads and loads of questions on this, but I think just giving yourself a little bit of a general sense of what you're doing is kind of what you need. Okay, we got some questions here. Is there a calculator hack for working out probability trees? Let's come back to that. Isa. Let's come back to that, Isa, just because that is slightly off topic, but stick it in the Q&A and I'll answer that at the very end. Can the arc be of any length, says Isa. Yes. So what you can do, yeah, this is a good question. So can the arc be of any length? So firstly, you can have your compass set really, your compass could be really short and you could go there, but I wouldn't recommend that. So I would always recommend you go further than halfway of a line. So like don't go too small here just because it's not very accurate. I would do big, like yeah, I would go about that distance away. And in terms of the arc, you can go all the way around. Like there's no reason you can't do a massive one if you're really sure, if you're really not sure. One of the mistakes people make is they just do tiny little arcs like this. Do a big arc, do a big arc, just be really gentle with your pencil there. So yeah, I would say that. Angle bisector, says Tia, exactly. This is what the topic is called. It's called angle bisector. And Maddie, another great question. Maddie says, does it matter if AQA isn't my exam board? No, not at all. Listen, I'll always tell you if a question is specifically going to be something like AQA, but this comes up in everyone has to do this stuff here. So no, the only difference with AQA, I'll be honest, is the font is slightly different on the questions to edXL. That's basically the only difference. And there's a couple of multiple choice questions, but other than that, it's all the same. And Sarah says, "Hi, sorry, I'm late." Sarah, honestly, please don't worry. This is not like school here. I'm not going to come down hard on you. Sarah, where have you been? What have you been doing? Naughty. I just couldn't be a school teacher. I couldn't pretend to be angry when someone comes in late. So yeah, come on, whatever. Um, right, let's carry on. Next question. Saren, what have you been doing? Why are you late? We used to have a teacher who was I'll just tell this quickly. We used to have a teacher at school who would always say that, but could never remember who'd come into the classroom or not. So this joker in our class would come in. So I shouldn't be saying this. Please don't do this at school. But this really cracked me up. This guy would this he would come into class on time, and when the teacher turned around to write something on the board, he'd climb out the window, walk back round the classroom, and come in late and say, "So I'm late." So he'd go, "Hey, come in. Why are you late?" And I think he even did it twice, once in the same classroom. Came back, "Why are you late? Come on in." Anyway, that always cracked me up. Right, question 9. Let's go. Question 9. Let's go. Don't do that to your teachers at school. Wow. Okay, question 9. Right. So, why are people finding this question difficult? these two triangles are similar. Work out the value of A. Let me know in the chats. Why do people find this difficult? Is it that you don't have a system for doing similar shapes? I'm stealing that, says Anushka. Sarah, I'll be honest, I had to eat breakfast. Listen, Sarah, we all got to eat it. We have all got to eat it. Good on you. Right. Um, this question. Let me know in the chats why are people finding this difficult. Is it because you don't have a system for similar shapes? Or you don't like know what similar shapes are? Is it just the whole topic? Let me know in the chats. Is there any way you guys can phrase this so that I understand what you're finding difficult? If not, I'll just assume. I think, is it fair to say you guys are finding this difficult? Don't you have to find the scale factor, says Tia. I think I could do this, says Olivia. Yeah, okay. But I'll tell you what, though. I think the reason that people find this difficult is that they think too hard about it. They start thinking about it rather than having a system. So, yeah, Sienna's got this. Yes. Okay. But Anushka's saying, oh, don't you do the SAS, SSS? Okay. So, just quickly, this is only for GCSE, not for IGCSE. There's a thing called congruent triangles. So, congruent means they're exactly the same, and similar means they're the same, but one's bigger than the other, basically. And congruent is the SAS, AA, SSS thing, which no one knows and is really annoying. But that's not this. That's a different topic. That's if they said prove these two triangles are congruent, you'd have to go and show that like side, 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 for example, was the same in all of them. And there's side, angle, blah, 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 blah. Let's not waste our time talking about something we don't need to. But similar shapes. Okay. You guys need a system. And this is the same for any topic. If you learn my system for how to do it, you don't have to think. So some people have said, don't you go find the scale factor by doing 20 over 16 or something like that? It's like, yeah, but let me show you a system for how to get marks on this every single time. It's what I call the cycle. I draw it like this, bang, bang. And the reason I like this method is that it works for loads and loads of different topics. I will show you how it works for similar shapes, and then I'll show you how exactly the same method works for scales. So like as in like a map, a scale drawing of 1 to 30 or whatever. It works for that. It works for exchange rates, and it works for any proportions when one of the numbers 1. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. But you times on the top and you divide on the bottom. And you do find the scale factor. And what you always do, stick this in the chats for those of you that have been seeing, have come to a bunch of webinars of mine. You guys should know, what am I going to put on the top there? What am I going to put? Stick it in the chats. I want to see if you guys can remember how I do this, how I solve this. Yeah, Sabrina says it's just confusing, like how it looks. I haven't learned this exactly. So what you need, Sabrina, is you need a system, and this is what the system is going to give you. So that even when you think, oh, it's just a bit confusing, promise you, you follow this system, you get full marks every single time. Anushka, nearly. Second over first. Thank you, Ruby. Ruby's giving me the perfect answer. Ariana, nearly. You said bottom over the top, but yeah, it's the second over the first one. So we've had one. Anushka, this is really useful that you've done this, Anushka, because a lot of people will be doing this. What Anushka has said is 20 over 16. Okay. Up here, Anushka's put 20 over 16. However, I always say it's the second one over the first one. In this case, Anushka, it would be 16 over 20. Okay, that's why it's really important to do the second one over the first one. Um, this one over this one. The reason in this case is that, let me just write this down. So this is 16 over 20. And the same on the bottom, you just copy this down. The reason is that this one over here is smaller. Okay, and so you want to times by a fraction. Like if it was 20 over 16, that'd be top heavy fraction. It would actually make it bigger. So you can always do a quick sense check. Like, does this make sense? Actually, we can do a sense check at the very end. So Anushka, if you put 20 over 16 here, when you got your final answer for the value of A, this number you would have got out as being bigger than 12. And when you did a sense check at the end of this question, you'd be like, hang on a sec, this triangle's smaller than that one. And so you could pick up on your mistake. So this is just another thing to say to everyone. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes in a maths paper. We have to kind of normalize that because everyone makes mistakes all the time. I make mistakes. You guys have picked me up on mistakes I've made in the past. We all make mistakes, right? But it's like, can you go and find them? And having a sense check at the end of a question is really, really important. So second one over the first one. Now, all this does now is tells us how to get from one side on one shape to another one. So now I know that anything on this shape, if I divide it by that, I'll get to this shape and the other way around. So here we want to find A. So I take that and I do that to it because the arrow's going that way. So down here, I would go 12 times by 16 over 20, and just punch that into your calculator. 12, come on, 12, sorry, times by fraction 16 over 20. And do you see what I'm doing? I'm not thinking about this. If you have a system in place, you don't have to think. These numbers could literally be anything. It could be any number in the world. And I would just do this the same. And I wouldn't be scared of this because I know my system. I trust my system. What I mean by so whatever that is, that's just going to be my answer. I'm going to hit S to D, 9.6, done. And just double check, does that make sense? Yes, that's a bit smaller than that. Great. Okay, so 9.6, there we go. Bang. Always double check. Did they say write it to one decimal place? No, they didn't. Fine. Okay. So you see, I'm comfortable doing these questions because of my system. The reason why you'll find these questions difficult is if you start thinking too hard, thinking, oh, 20 and 16. Hang on, so 20, so that's four. 16 is like four less than 20, which is like a fifth. Is that like a fifth off 20? So fifth off 20, so I could do a fifth off 12. Do you see all this thinking is taking up so much time and energy in my maths exam? This is true if you then take 20 and take a fifth off 20. Yeah, you will get to 9.6. So there is a way of doing it like that, but it's just boring and it takes too long and you have to think too hard. So what I'm trying to do is give you a system where you don't even have to think anymore. So let's make another card for this one, okay? So similar triangles. So on the front, I'm gonna say, front of your card, you're gonna write similar triangles. Right, let's just do method, similar triangles. And then let's just draw this out quickly. So we just go like, duh, 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 and then a slightly smaller one. And don't bother writing the angles down. Just go 12, 20, 16. 12, 20, 16. And let's do x. And just say find x. Okay. And then on the back, what we want to do on the back of this card is copy this out. Duh, 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 duh. These are your micro revision cards, remember? Yeah. So you just want to go like this. And you want to go times by 16 over 20 and then divide by 16 over 20. And you can always write here, second one over first one, right? You always times by the second one over the first one. And just write that. You don't even need to write the answer. It doesn't matter what the answer is. It matters what the method is. I just want you guys to realize that the method on these questions is so much more important than the answer. Get the method right, bang, you get it. So this, look, this will take you 10 seconds to revise. You look at this, similar triangles, bang, and you're just like, what's the thing? Oh, you arrow on the top, times by the, and then flip it over. Yes, I got it right. Bang, that's the end of your revision. That's it. So does that make sense? Let me just see in the chats. Even if the second is bigger. Yes, Mesa, this is the thing that's amazing about this technique. Great question. Mesa's saying, what if the second one's bigger? What if that was 160? Oh no, like as in like the normal way your teachers teach you to do these things is this would be a completely different question. They'd be like, well, now this question, now this one is bigger, so you got to think in a different way. No, you just come in here. The only difference is that would also have zero on it. And the method would be literally exactly the same, Mason. So to find x, you would do 12 times 160 over 20. I'd literally just go in here and just change that and just stick a zero on it. Do you see why we shouldn't be afraid of these questions anymore? Because if you have the right system, I mean, you just hit equals or well, literally whatever let the calculator do the work. 96, fine. That would be the answer in that case. So it doesn't matter if it's bigger or smaller. You just get the system right, and it works for any number in the world. Great question though, thanks. Could you just okay, so all is saying, could you not just do 12 divided by 1.25? Probably. Should we try it? 12 divided by, yeah, you'll probably find that there's another way of doing it. Just give the same answer. Yeah, it does. Yeah, great, great. So you've probably got a different way of doing this. But okay, so the way you've done it there, all it is you've done 12 over 6. You've kind of done the similar thing, right? But you've done this to get 1.25. So you've gone the other way around. But it's fine. You've basically done this. You've done the same thing, but just with the arrows the other way around. So yeah, it's fine. So look, there's always going to be another way, and like multiple ways of doing stuff. It just so happens that yeah, the answer is 9.6. It just so happens that like yeah, anyway, I just think this system is best for me because you can copy it across loads of different topics. Let me quickly just give you an example. So here's a question. Oh, something's in the scale 1 to 30 or 1 to 30,000. I know a lot of people find this annoying. There's a scale of 1 to 30,000. Bang. That means you times by 30,000 and you divide by 30,000. Same method. It's called the cycle. Okay, £1 is equal to 1 point, I don't know, 15 euros. Fine. Times by 1.15, divide by 1.15. And what this is telling you is that if you ever have any pounds, you just do that to it and it will turn it into euros for you. Likewise, if you get any euros, you do that to it and it'll turn it into pounds. So great. This same technique has done maps and scale drawings, currency conversions, and similar shapes. Bang! 3 topics for the price of one. Thank you very much. Always try and find nice ways to be able to do multiple topics in one go. So 6 and 9 done. Let's go to 11. And then maybe we'll stop for the free and then I'll carry on for the premium members. Okay, cool. Right. Let me show. Okay. Let me. How should I phrase this? Um, who wants free marks in their GCSEs? Who wants free marks across the whole of their GCSEs? Right, let me know in the chat. Who wants some absolutely free marks? Yeah, me. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. You guys have got to just stop thinking about trying to answer the question. If you're stuck on a question like this, let me reframe the whole of your GCSEs for you. If you are stuck on a question, you stop trying to get the question right. You're just trying to get 1 mark. And if you change if you change your mindset across the paper to do this, this is how you jump an entire grade boundary, like almost overnight. I know so many people that just like, oh, yeah, but I haven't learnt this topic and I don't know what relative frequency is. So how can I do this question? Because I don't understand it, right? Who's thinking like that? Who's thinking like that right now? Is anyone in the chat thinking, I don't know relative frequency, so I actually can't do this question? Or yeah, Callum's like that. Yeah, like, oh, I don't know how to work out the number of times that, or I'm not quite sure. Yeah, right. So a bunch of people saying, yeah, right. Let me just reframe the whole of your GCSEs and give you some free marks. If you're stuck on this, or even if you are 7 years old, okay, and you haven't learned relative frequency, you don't know what half the words mean, you can still get marks on your GCSEs. You just ignore the bit that's getting you stuck, okay? So let's say we don't know what relative frequency means. Okay, so you just blank this out in your head. Just ignore it because it doesn't matter how long you think about it. You're not going to suddenly remember what relative frequency is. You either know it or you don't. Okay, we don't know it. So we just cross like I don't know how to do this. Why say green? I don't. They didn't even mention green. I don't know. I'm stuck. I don't know. Blah 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 blah. Ignore the bits that you hate. Okay, ignore the bit that's getting you stuck. Just pull out all the maths. What are the bits of maths? There's a bit of maths there. Let me do it in a different color. Let me do it in pink. There's a bit of maths there. There's a bit of maths there. There's a bit of maths there. That's it. There's 3 numbers in this question. And if you want to get marks, go and do stuff to the numbers. Okay. I do have a rule, which is even out times. Okay. If you're stuck times, and usually that works. Like usually that gets you marks. But some people might be like, yeah, but what, do we just times all 3? And it's worth being a little bit smart about this. You'd only times all of the numbers together. There's only 2 examples when you do that. One is finding the volume of a cuboid, like when you have like a shoebox, yeah, and they give you like, I didn't take art A level, guys, can you tell? And they say like 10, 3, 6. Times them all together. Yeah, fine, do it there. The other time you times them all together is when you're counting it, when they say there's 5 starters, 6 main courses, and 8 desserts. How many? Just times them all together, right? Those are the times you times them all together. Otherwise you wouldn't do that. What you're looking for is usually pairs of numbers to go like that go with each other. So usually in a question like this, there might be like red 15 and then blue 25. In this case, you just times the red ones together and then times the blue ones together. Okay. I'm just showing you like if you're really stuck on these questions, just how to go and get marks. If there's only one total number, like here it's 350, okay, you usually just interact that 350 with each of the little numbers, if you see what I mean. So this is just roughly what this usually looks like. It would be like 350 times by 0.18 and then 350 times by 0.62. Let's just put that in our calculator. You need to do that anytime you see a question like this and you don't even understand any of the words. You need to do something like this. Get it down on the page. So 63, bang. And then down here was 350 times 0.62. Okay. And again, I don't understand the question. I don't even know what relative frequency means. I'm completely stuck here. But now I've got two numbers. So you can just move on now. You could just be like, I've done something. At least it's better than nothing. And I'll be really proud of you if you did that, if you were completely stuck. But what if you really want to push yourself to the next level? And we all want to push ourselves to the next level. You now just try and do something with these numbers. Now remember the 0.18 was like red, was something red. So this is something red, and this is something blue. And now it's like, well, could that be like the number of reds, the number of blues? I mean, why not? A spinner can land on a bunch of things and spin it 350 times. Why not? Maybe that's the number of reds and that is the number of blues. Like, and they want the number of greens. Well, there's 350 in total. That was the red and the blues. Should we add them together? Like, why not? Why not just do it? Like, don't bow out this early. You just might as well do anything with the new numbers that you get. This is how to get Mark 2. Okay, you just do anything with the new numbers. This will be 2. So we add those together and we get 280. And then you might think, I don't know what I'm doing. And again, I don't even know what relative frequency means, but 350 and 280, like green would be the difference between those, right? So it would be 350 minus 280. It's worth just having a stab at this, right? And then just go equals like 70, right? Why not just go 70 green, so 70. Okay, like I've just tried to do some stuff. Now, how many marks do you think we've got out of 3? Let me know in the chats. I haven't even read the question. 2 says Ariana. Who else? 3. Yeah. We got full marks, guys. We got full marks on this question. Okay. And this is what it's going to look like when you just start hustling your way through a paper, just like, God, I don't know how to do this, but like, let me just try and just play around with the numbers a bit. I know that's not like a fun thing to do. Hey, let's play with some numbers. But in a maths exam, it is a fun thing to do because it's going to get you marks. So okay, now I'm going to explain the question. Okay, I will actually now explain the math. Relative frequency basically means probability. It basically means the same thing. The only reason they don't say probability is that like you don't actually know the true probability. You only know like an approximate probability from spinning something a bunch of times. Okay, like if you had like a biased dice and you didn't know what the probabilities were, you could roll it like 1,000 times. If you really didn't have anything to do on a Sunday, you could roll it 1,000 times, and then like who's spinning this 350 times, and you could work out like what was basically the probability of it all. But you can't use the word probability because you don't know that that's the underlying probability. So you use this other word, which is called relative frequency. Why? I don't know, just because someone came up with it, but that's it. So basically, when you see in a question, it feels like a probability question, this doesn't it? It's like how many times, like the likelihood of doing this, it feels a bit like a probability question. If you ever see a 0 point something, it behaves exactly like a probability does. And the one thing you always do with probabilities is times it. So the probability of something times by the number of times you do it will tell you the number of times it lands on red or blue or whatever. So now I've explained the question, okay? But if you didn't understand that and you don't like it, doesn't matter. You can still go and get marks on these questions by just doing stuff to the numbers. But the big thing is, I have so many students that do this, that they love my rule, if in doubt times. And they go a bit gung-ho with it. So they'll be like, okay, times that by that. If in doubt, times this by this. It's like, wait, don't just don't randomly times that by 3.5. Like just slow down a little bit, right? I'm not saying just times any number and you always get something, but um, if one of the numbers is big, one of the numbers is small, like 0 point, it's very often times. But the next step is try and do something with those numbers. So yeah, my lesson here is try and do something with these numbers. Let's just write one more card and then I'll stop for this for the free lot and then I'll carry on for the premium. So what are we saying? 350 spins. I'll just say like first step. First step, go like 350 spins. Relative, now here you do have to write the word out because this is the thing that's confusing a lot of people, I think. Relative frequency of red equals 0.18, and then say relative frequency of blue equals 0.62. Should we do that? And then on the back, you just want to write 350 times 0.18, 350 times 0.62. And this one, this one's basically like number of red, and this one is basically number of blue. That's basically, I think that would make a good card. Just so you guys know how to begin questions like this. And if you manage to get that far, as I said, just keep pushing yourself to try and keep doing stuff to the other numbers. And you can very easily plop out with plop, shouldn't be easy, plop out with full marks on a question like this. All right, take a picture of that if you want. We're going to move on. So for those watching free, yeah, just to remind you guys, I'm going to stop live streaming the free webinars. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all my free content on YouTube. So I will email everyone out here, but I'll be putting lots more stuff on YouTube for you guys. So if you subscribe to YouTube, you'll get all my free content when I put it out. And as I said, the reason I'm doing that is just because so many people that watch free, very few people are actually watching live. They all want to watch on replay anyway. It makes sense to have a huge archive of material up there on YouTube, and just so I can keep supplying you guys with some free content. For those of you that really like this live setup and want to come here live, you're always welcome to come back Sunday at 11 and ask me questions in the Zoom room, but this will be for the premium members. Okay, so you can go and have a look about how to sign up. But if you just want the free stuff, you can just come at Sunday at 11 and then watch my YouTube channel, or like, just like watch my normal videos that I put up there. But I'm excited to start that YouTube channel and get that going so I can keep providing free content for you guys. And for those of you that want more support and want to come into these um, Zoom webinars and actually ask me questions and bounce back, and I can get to know you. Come and sign up to premium. It's cool. It's great, and we're getting great results. I'm really loving it. It's a really great. It's not a community because you're not talking to each other, but like it's a really inspiring group where people are like, I just jumped 3 grades. I just got the highest in my class because of these couple of tricks, and it's really cool. It's a really nice group. So come join us. It's loads of I dare say fun. Is it actually fun? Is maths fun? So let me know in the chat. Are these fun? I mean, I think no. I think that's probably too far. Although I'm getting yeses. Anushka says, I can vouch for Rob. I jumped 3 grades from my year 10 to 11 mocks. Anushka, that's amazing. I absolutely love that. Can't believe. Okay, you guys are actually saying it's fun. Okay, it's maths. Dot 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 said, yeah, okay. It's as fun as maths can be. All right, right. So let me stop sharing my screen. I will just end the live stream there. For those of you watching free, yeah, as I said, sign up to premium, or I might do one more. Might do one more next week. But keep posted to send my email list.